Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my Pixel Quest. Thank you for joining me today for the continuation of our blind playthrough of The Return of the Obra Dinn. Just a rolling reminder that this is a totally blind playthrough, so I am definitely, super keen to hear everyone's comments on this episode, but just don't include any kind of hints or tips or help or game information, anything that I don't know. Whether you're confirming something positive, whether you're confirming something that just, like nothing that can accidentally do that. Just so I can continue being bumbling around completely blind while we're doing this playthrough. Now, I'm talking about all of this when we should be just celebrating this excellent music once again, as I am always determined to do at the beginning of our episodes. It's, I always go on about it, but my God, this music, my God, it's the best. It's so good. Thank you so much, music. It makes my freaking day. Let's continue. Now, I have some, I think exciting thoughts. I am excited about these thoughts that I've had. I've said to you guys before, I don't do any puzzling on this game in between episodes. I just come into the episode and experience it. I don't even make notes. I know, maybe I will start making notes. I'm not like this isn't like a rule or anything. It's just that so far I've been fine managing how I've been managing. But I did at the end of recording the last episode, just my brain does its thing, and I just, was thinking about a couple of things afterwards. And I went, I think, that's an idea. So I'm going to tell you what my idea is. We were very, I was going to say lucky. I don't know if lucky is the right word. But it was amazing in the last episode to, investigate these two deaths here. And we got a look down below, and we saw in the passenger storage there is a clearly important, magical, quite possibly cursed shell that is being kept in a piece of furniture down there. So obviously a really big deal for a lot of reasons. I was so thrilled that my idea about shells panned out to mean actual seashells, as I had started to think, after thinking the very first reference to shells in the first episode was ammunition. No, shells, seashells. There are quite possibly cursed seashells, at play in this game. And I was thinking, I just had that in my mind, and then I thought, oh my God, this must be the shell, because it's not that it must be the shell, but this is my big theory right now. My big theory is that this is the shell. This is what we're seeing sparkling in the ocean. It's got the same kind of sparkle. And once I had that thought, it all kind of slotted into place, and now more things are starting to, my theory is starting to take root. It's starting to fill out. It's starting to, connect to other bits of the story. So I think, let's take a look at the chapters here. Now, murder is where we saw this shell. This is quite early on in the proceedings here. However, I don't know what's going to happen here, obviously, but we know what's going to happen here. We have some ideas about what will happen here. We don't know. And we know more or less what will happen here. I mean, we at least know some of the things. We don't know all of the things that are happening here, right? Because we have we see a lot in each chapter, but we have a limited lens. We have a limited lens, which is we're seeing through the moment of, someone's passing, and we can only see what we can see in a given, space. We can't even go all over the ship to see everything that's happening. So there's all kinds of stuff that could be going on outside of those moments, of course, but also outside of that spatial limitation. We're kind of trapped spatially within a certain area in each moment. So obviously, yeah, we've only got like a limit. We've got limited insights into what's going on. But once I started thinking that sparkle in the ocean could be the shell that someone has chucked overboard, it just like then the obvious thing was the captain has thrown that shell overboard. And is that what occurred in the bargain? Is that what occurred in the bargain? The captain went down, excuse me, the captain went down, and whatever the nature of this bargain is and how he's making a bargain and with who he's making a bargain, I don't know. Maybe it's with the shell. Maybe the shell speaks. I don't know. The bargain, as far as I'm thinking, probably involves him chucking the shell back into the ocean where it belongs, right? Well, I doubt it belongs here. I doubt the shell comes from this ecosystem here because, all right, well, I'll get to that part. But that's what I think might have happened. And so maybe what I'm thinking, maybe the way that I can a little bit not completely validate because I can't, but maybe I can accrue a little bit more evidence towards my theory by checking in the escape. Do we see that sparkle in the ocean, and do we not see it in the doom? And I think that would at least give currency to my idea that the shell has been chucked into the ocean here. Now, all right, I've actually written here. I have actually written notes so that I could remember all the things I wanted to say. The other one is this has kind of helped to really crystallize the nature, a little bit more of the nature of the bargain here. Now, obviously, there's very good, things are pretty desperate. I don't know what happens here. I imagine things are pretty desperate at every point, but things are certainly also desperate at this point when we're in the Doom chapter. Giant squid is attacking the ship. It's killing everybody, and but something extremely important in terms of the narrative happens at this point, happens actually at the end of this chapter, which is Abigail. Abigail dies. Abigail is the captain's love, the captain's wife. We know that he himself kind of ends things shortly after all of this. So obviously he already has good reason, potentially, to make a bargain to save the ship, to save everyone else on the ship. And he is a captain, of course, so that could be a big part of his reasoning. But I would say that on a personal, emotional, spiritual level, you can't really, it takes no effort for me to imagine that the death of his wife is a huge, obviously an enormously shattering moment for him. That you would lose hope. It would be easy to imagine a man like that abandoning his own values at that point. Like, if he had some reason for not making this bargain up until here, quite potentially that reasoning is now gone. Even if it's gone temporarily, because he's now in the grip of horrible grief, So, which is quite sad to think about. But I mean, there's just so much sadness. Through this whole game. So, but just in terms of the flow of the narrative and in terms of the flow of the story, this makes absolute perfect sense to me that the end of this chapter, the last thing that occurs, is that moment of Abigail's passing. And so maybe that is the straw that breaks the camel captain's back, in a sense. He then takes it upon himself to make this bargain, or I don't even know if it is making a bargain, you know what I mean? Like, that's an assumption I'm sort of making, that there is a bargain that is, how can I say, there's a bargain, some sort of bargain that is understood between two people as an offering, and that both people agree to. It might not really actually take that form. This might this might be meant in a slightly more abstract way or a more facetious way. I don't know, but I would probably tend to assume that's what it is. So I think that the captain has chucked the shell, maybe multiple shells, I don't know. Maybe also wretched fish, I don't know. Wretched fish and shells have been mentioned together, so I don't know really what's at play without seeing the other chapters. But that at the moment, that is a really compelling theory to me, that the captain, Abigail's passing at the end of the doom, just broke him, and he abandoned whatever was holding him back from doing this. Whatever occurred during the bargain occurred. That shell was chucked into the ocean, possibly with other shells and possibly with wretched fish as well. And then we have the proceedings of the escape. So I'm really keen to go back to the doom and go back to the escape memories to see if I can see that the doom doesn't have that sparkle in the water and that the escape does have the sparkle in the water. We know it's here. We know it's in the end. But at least I'm pretty sure. It's been a while, but that was what I was thinking. Okay, so then the other thing I was thinking is, where am I going? The journey. Now, if that's true, I've mentioned before, I haven't done much with this map yet, but we do know that these events are quite close together here. Now, this is my first time to see this one, and I'm actually quite surprised. I am very surprised, let's just say. I am very surprised, actually, at how close this is, because I guess I was expecting a little bit more of a... I was expecting the journey to be a little bit more stretched out. I don't know how stretched out, but I didn't expect it all. This is quite a tall map, right? Like, it covers a lot. Like, we know they're not getting much further than this, but I had expected it to stretch potentially, back to here or something like that. I didn't know what this time or spatial scale was going to be. Anyway, the murder is not the beginning, it's chapter 3, but it's, it is chapter 3, so we've only got 2 other chapters before this. Where do they go? Where do they go? Maybe they are like 2 and 1 or something like that. Maybe they are actually much more stretched out. Anyway, where I was going with this is, if I'm right about this, the shell was not thrown aboard here. Well, it was thrown aboard actually, very much around here. Let's say just past. I don't know. So between these two. The end is not that much further, and for all I know, I don't actually know where we are right now. We could be still here. I don't... now that I say this, my original understanding is that the Obra Dinn had returned. Isn't that the whole premise of the game, right? The return of the Obra Dinn. So I thought, we are. The ship is here. What am I saying? The ship is surely here. It's at a British port, right? Is it at a port in Madeira or something? Man, now I've got some screenshots from the beginning of the game here on my phone. Yeah. The Obra Dinn was lost at sea. That could very well just mean, it was here and nobody realized, for, 5 years. So it was lost in 1803. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they say the Obra Dinn has returned. This is on the insurance and claim note. The Obra Dinn has returned, dispatched to Falmouth immediately. So, yeah. The ship has made its way back somehow. Now I've just been going on with the game up until now, obviously getting stuck into what's going on, what's happening. But this is a good point for me to have a think back. Now, after all that we have learned, in these few episodes. Like, what's gone on? What's gone on here? What's gone on? Everyone kind of should have been dealt with at this stage. So you're thinking, all right, there's just a ship, an empty ship with no living human beings aboard. Now, I guess here's two things that occur to me on the spot immediately. One is that we don't know that, like, it appears that there might be some people who legit escape. They legit escape from the ship. Does that mean that theoretically they could come back to the ship and sail it, you know, back to England? It'd probably be really hard, but maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible. Second thought, ghost captain, ghost captain and ghost crew captain the ship back to England for some reason after 5 years. I'm just looking actually at the preface. You know, actually I can do this right here. I don't need to look at my screenshot. I can show you as well. Here we are. Let's have a look at this again. It's been a while. We've got a lot more information through which to understand this now. I trust that you now find yourself aboard the Obra Dinn. I expected this day to come. Now, why did you expect this day to come, Henry Evans? Henry Evans, the mysterious surgeon. And my every intention was to tell the ship's strange tale within the pages of this book. Now, assuming you're telling the truth about that, excuse me, why did you expect this day to come? Because how did this ship get back here, and why after 5 years? Obviously, in a sense, this was sort of the first mystery, but like then so many other mysteries, like bam, 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 you know, kind of took precedence in my mind because they were the mysteries right in front of us. Now that I return to this, yeah, why? Regrettably, failing health has allowed me to produce only the basic outline that follows. Your presence on the Obra Dinn is critical. Critical. I leave the discovery of its fate and the completion of this book in your hands. Because his health is failing, he cannot tell the story himself. But is the implication that he knows everything? He's hoping that I will tell the story, but he doesn't need to know. I think what he's saying is he doesn't need to know any information from me. He has all of the information. The next few pages will seem bewildering at first. All will make sense in time. Yep, I'm getting there. Use the pocket watch to determine the identity and fate of everyone aboard. Complete each chapter accurately and return the book by guaranteed post to the French Office of Affairs in Morocco. Why? Why there? Why there? The bargain chapter will remain unknown to you. I possess the details within, but have elected to keep them private for now. Yeah. So it is kind of the same sort of series of mysteries, but interesting to revisit. So yeah, anyway, look, that's just a little bit of a theory, and obviously it in itself raises more questions, which is the best kind of theory. The best kind of theory. Theories that might be wild and crazy, multiple theories that go in different directions, you know, theories with big gaps in them, but you know, that kind of that beg a sort of a compelling story, and of course theories that raise more questions and imply even more mystery, even more compelling mysteries. This is the best stuff. So I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited just at having this. Yeah, I love it. This is what I love playing games. And like, I suppose just to hang on this point a little bit, because it sort of gets to a little bit why I so much love doing blind playthroughs and really remaining like totally blind and not getting any hints or confirmation or anything from anybody. For me, this is, I use this word a lot, like I truly think like the experience of blind playthroughs and being able to share that with other people so that they can kind of relive the first experience with a game through someone else's unique experience is magic. I use the word magic a lot, but it's just, to me, it is the best description. I think it is magic. Like, I'm getting a little bit philosophical here, but like, you know, we go through life, we have experiences, you know, we experience things in our mind, with our perception, we are changed through these experiences. Experiencing art and a story, and with a game in particular, well, not in particular, it you know, everything is included, you know, like film, whatever, comics, books, but with a game, I guess what I'll say with a game is, you know, like, you're experiencing not just somebody's vision, not just somebody's story idea or whatever it is. You're experiencing this this project, like this whole world project, whatever it is in the nature of a particular game, that's been put together by all kinds of craftspeople. So a bit more like a movie, like, in a lot of respects. You know, and you might obviously have a strong core director or somebody, you know, somebody whose vision is being really represented here. However, it is the work of so many craftspeople, from music composers to, you know, people who do different, like the art director, and then the different people who do different parts of the art, and people who work on the interface, and, you know, the programmers, like, everyone, there are all kinds of craftspeople who are pouring their love and passion and talent and, you know, all kinds of things, you know, into this, and it's being composed, you know, by the very various people who are doing the work of the composition, of editing, etc., you know. Anyway, I really appreciate that what we get to experience is this beautiful kind of work of art, you know, to whatever degree, that that takes you on a journey. And even though the game itself may not be like a linear experience, like, you know, obviously a lot of games are not linear in function in the way that they unfold, but your experience of it is. And so, in a sense, that's what you can, like, that's what anybody experiences in time, and it's what I can capture in videos from start to finish of my blind playthrough. Anyway, it's a really long explanation, but I do think about this kind of thing a lot. I think it's a beautiful thing to have this incredibly rich work of art, that you get to have this journey, this step-by-step journey of experiencing for the first time, when you don't know what is ahead of you. Like, you guys watching, the vast majority of people watching have played the game and do know kind of what's in front of me. You know what's in the game, you know. You might not know how I'm going to experience it, you might not know how I'm going to react to it, etc. But you know what's in the game. I don't, and that's what's great. That's what's exactly great about this experience, is that, and it's one of the things I so much treasure about these experiences, is that in front of me is only guesses or possibilities, and most likely surprises, and all kinds of things I don't know what. So to me, this is a playground of potential experience. So whether I might be thinking something that's like, how can I put this in simple terms? I kind of don't care or mind whether I turn out to be right or wrong about something. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not trying to guess, you know. I'm not trying to prove to people that I'm clever or good at games or anything, because most certainly a lot of the times, like, not, you know, there's a lot of variability in there, you know, and I'm very comfortable with that. Quite frankly, that keeps us all guessing, right? But what I do love is that I have this fog in front of me. And I might have guesses, I might have more solid guesses and less solid guesses, or, you know, like evidence of the direction that something might go in, but it is a mystery. And it's being in the moment, like being at the interface where the fog, you know, the experiences are behind me, and the fog is in front of me at every point through the game experience, being at that interface is the best feeling, because I love wondering. I love the experience of wondering. Finding out is fun, is obviously fun and satisfying and interesting in its own way. I absolutely love that as well. But it's not the only thing I love. And if anything, I would say it's the wondering that I love even more. So that's kind of a big, long explanation for you guys, in part about something that I really, really, really treasure and love about doing these blind playthroughs and getting to share it with you all. Okay, all right. That was kind of a long explanation in a sense, but I hope something that you can appreciate. Now, let's get back to actual investigation. I'm excited about the potential of finding out more about this sparkle, that's for sure. Now, we've been looking at this one. We now know what this is. Oh, sorry, one more thing I had to say about this. Actually, I didn't write this down in my notes, but one more thing I had to say about this is, of course, all of this raises the question, and we don't have any real insights into this yet, but it raises the question for me about where did this shell come from and why is it aboard the ship? We know it's within this furniture here, whether it's like sort of just a, something that's meant to like be a case that you can lock, etc. It sort of looks like it holds something and you can lock it. I don't know. But why is it here? Now, it's in the passenger storage, and I'm going ahead and assuming that the passenger storage has been rented out by the Formosan royalty. It's in the passenger cargo. It's being guarded by one of the Formosan guards. The royalties, obviously, one of the people aboard this ship who are going to have the means to pay for a full, cargo storage area like this on a ship where space is at a premium, all of that sort of stuff. So I think I'm very happy to make that call. Like this, the Formosan royalty bought this shell on board in some way. Why did they have it? I don't know. All right, and here's the thing. Obviously, I don't know any of this. This is all guesswork. Maybe they didn't bring it aboard. Maybe they had the storage, but maybe the shell came into their possession at some point along the ship, and they just kept it. They were like, let's put it down here. It goes in our cargo. Could be something like that. But I think there's a strong case to be made for the fact that they brought it aboard the ship with them. Now, this in itself, apart from why they have this shell, were they bringing the shell somewhere, etc., we then have to step back and go, why are they here? This has, of course, been an ongoing question. Why are they here on this ship? Let's have a look at the sketch. Formosan royalty. I don't know. I know a little bit about Taiwan's history. I will also say I am a fan of Taiwan. Like, I'm not an expert on Taiwan, but I love it so much. I've been extremely lucky to have been to Taiwan twice in my life, and it was, I've never stopped going on about how much I loved it each time I was there. Completely fell in love with it. I've also spent a lot of my time, I've spent my whole life kind of having, learning Japanese. I've lived in and worked in Japan for a while, and, have always had close connections with Japan. And so, that kind of also makes the history of Taiwan sort of, interesting, etc. But I can't say I know that much about, the period in which it would have been called Formosa. I know that there was an extremely, extremely brief, like a few months where it was formerly the Republic of Formosa, but I know that the term Formosan comes from centuries prior to that. So, that's kind of the extent of my knowledge of all of this. So I don't know if there's any, and again, this is where, like, please don't tell me, like, if I choose to look something up about, like, history or on Wikipedia to aid my experience of this game, like, I'll go ahead and do that. But, like, if I hear, like, the concern is always if I hear things being told to me in the comments, I don't know if those are important to know for puzzle solving. You know what I mean? And I know that you might explain that it is or it isn't, but it just makes things, how can I explain? It just makes things messy. It's like the slippery slope problem, right? Like, I don't know. It sort of stresses me out that people might tell me something that, is a big hint. So I just want to, like, bumble around myself, making, going in all kinds of directions. And, so if I want to, I'll look something up, generic, nothing to do with the game, generic information, like, about, the history of Formosa or something on Wikipedia, like, if it occurs to me, if I choose to. Anyway, but I'm just laying out, I don't know that much. I know very, very, very little. So I don't know if there are any actual, in reality, historical events that might say something about what's going on here. But either way, I don't think that the game expects me to know. It's not a game that's expecting you to know any of this stuff. It's all going to lay it out for you, right? I'm fairly sure of that. So it's just interesting to think, like, why is royalty coming aboard this ship that is traveling? I mean, it would be traveling to many places. We can't necessarily assume that they're actually trying to get to London or England, or even somewhere else from London or England. They might be going to Scotland, I don't know. But it's certainly a big possibility that they're traveling on this ship to go to England or London or something like this. Why? Anyway, I don't have much more than that, so I'll leave it there. But I wanted to let you guys know where I'm at, what my kind of current thinking is, what my current theories are, what some of my current questions are. All right, now to get back to this, what am I doing? This, we have found out that the person, the murder, is Nunzio Pasqua, and I think it was an accident. Like, I think he was caught in the crossfire of, Edward Nichols, the second mate, trying to steal this shell. So it's interesting that he even knows about the shell at this stage. I wonder what has happened in the previous 2 chapters that the second mate of this ship would even do this. Is it because he sees it as valuable? Is it because he's just like, ooh, like, I'm going to get that shell and I'm going to be sitting pretty. Like, this is incredible. I'm going to sell this somewhere and be a made man. Or is it because of some other reason? Is it because he thinks the shell is cursed and going to bring doom upon them all? And he's like, I disagree with the captain allowing them to keep this on board, so I'm going to deal with this shell. I don't trust it. Or is he... is it something else to do with what he perceives the shell is valuable for? Like, it's magical, something to do with its magical power or something. I don't know. But we did see in this scene that he, what's his name? Oh, wrong button. We did see that Nichols, somebody was whispering to Nichols in this scene. So, conspirator, co-conspirator, or something along those lines. Or he has a lackey to help him or something like that. I don't know. I wonder, I don't know. I wonder if Nichols maybe is acting on the interests of somebody who's not even on the ship. Has someone told him there's going to be this important, these important royals on this voyage. They're going to have something very valuable with them. I would like you to get that thing. I would like you to acquire it. it could be something like that. Could be kind of like a bigger sort of conspiracy or series of actions going on. Or it could just be him acting alone. The fact that he's the second mate, I don't know, like you'd sort of think, wouldn't the second mate of a ship with, you know, I don't know, wouldn't they all be kind of close together? Like, wouldn't they be people who have been on many voyages together? I don't know. So, wouldn't they know each other really well? I don't know. Look, in the end, it hasn't stopped them all from from betraying each other to us, at least in certain ways. Okay, and then we've got this guy. This is the third part of the chapter. This guy, at the moment, I don't know who he is, but now that I've learned more in these two sections and I feel reasonably on top of them, I actually feel like I might want to step back into this one just for a moment, because I think it might make a bit more sense to me now. So in that case, let's finally get on the move. Oh, I have something else to tell you that I can describe down here. So I realize our guy who died in here, our little skeleton here, this guy who was stabbed in previous episode, I got totally turned around and I was thinking that person had been like moved from here. You know, like I was, in my mind, I thought like he has crawled towards this door, but then where we next see him is in this spot. And it was like maddening, and, you know, probably almost certainly maddening for all of you, maddening for me to try and grapple with why that would occur. Anyway, I've just realized, like, when I look back at the footage, you know, I just went like, oh, you were just turned around. Like, this is exactly where he was heading. He was heading for this room. That's where the blood was. But I can't, so I guess just to give you guys an explanation for that moment, in my mind, I was just turned around about which direction I was facing. I was just turned around. Like, that's just why I made the mistake. I was just quite certain in my head that this is the door I was concerned with, and it wasn't. It was only this door in both incidents, in both, situations. So that was just, it was just a mistake. I just thought I was pointed a different way. I just got turned around on this tiny little ship. Normally I'm quite good with directions, even in like 3D games and as well as real life. But yeah, that was just a mistake. And actually, just while I'm saying this, I just want to remind myself what door this is. Yeah, it's just called midshipman, so you know, like, it doesn't give me, based on this, it doesn't give me a huge hint, you know, about who was in here. But I'm also like, how many midshipmen are there? How many midshipmen? I think there's a bunch, right? Oh, there's 3. 3 midshipmen. So, yeah, Peter, Thomas, and Charles. Okay. So, that makes me think... No, sorry, not this chapter. We're going to escape. Yeah, this guy. So he's probably one of them, because he was crawling back to his own room. You know, that's what I would think. But what he says here is, tell Pete's mother I tried my best to pull him back to save him. Now, I don't think that I have seen this yet. I think this probably relates to a chapter that we haven't seen yet. Maybe not. It might also be in the Doom, so I've got to still think about this. But since he's saying Pete here, isn't it likely that he's talking about Peter Milroy, another midshipman? If so, then I would say, we can say, yeah, like Peter Milroy is already dead by this stage. And either Thomas or Charles is very sad about it right now. Probably, that's the relationship that we're talking about. Because I don't think there's any other Pete anyway. I might have already, I'm apologies if I've forgotten. I might have already back then gone, oh, it's probably this Pete. Yeah, because there's only one Peter. But I'm more thinking about like just how I'm thinking about the relationship between them. So I reckon this guy is either Thomas or Charles. Thomas Lunke or Charles Herstick. Yeah, in the midshipman cabin. All right, now let me have one more look in here. How do 3 people sleep in here? This is what I'm wondering. There's a bed. There's a bed. I know, like maybe they sleep in the same bed together. To save space, of course. Maybe somebody sleeps in the little ship. Maybe somebody sleeps in the little ship for storage. Maybe they, they do rock, paper, scissors to figure out who sleeps on the floor. Just having a sip of my coffee. And currently it's this guy. So I think it's either Thomas or Charles here. It's this guy sleeping on the floor. Okay. Anyway, I think I'm reasonably happy that I feel like I've narrowed that down to 2 people, but I can't say for sure yet. I don't want to put down that it's one or the other because I don't know. There might be other clues, in the other, parts here about that, but right now I want to take a look at this. Jumping around a little bit.
On your toes.
Go back quick!
Here.
Pepe!
Slack the lifts and lower the boats. The whole crew will be on us.
Give it up!
So this guy's voice is just that last one. I was listening really carefully to try and think how many different people are speaking here. So I think, we know, that this guy just speaks at the end there. And that's confirmed here. He does have a very different voice to the others. It kind of feels to me that this could be a unique voice. And yeah. It's hard to tell between these 3, to be honest, because they could be different voices, but some of, at one is yelled louder than the others. There's no obvious accent that I'm noticing. So that alone doesn't help me. We do know now who this woman is, I'm fairly sure. Yep. Why are they taking her? Now this is our Edward Nichols. He's doing so many bad things. Why is he taking her? Is it possible that he is... No, I don't think so. I was thinking, is it possible that he's taking her because he's been accused of, the things that happened in chapter 3? And so he's kind of like, I'm out of here and I'm grabbing a woman as a hostage, type thing. I'm grabbing royalty as a hostage. I don't know. It doesn't really seem like that's what's happening to me, but it does seem like a desperate act. It does seem like a desperate, urgent kind of act. So I could imagine it potentially being something like that. Okay. So anyway, we now know who this guy is. We've got, excuse me. We've got a bit more context to him. This guy, who I think is helping him, is one of the gunners. One of the gunners that misses. Because only Christian hit his target. Everyone else missed. Whether accidental or on purpose, I mean, maybe, when you know that other people are going to be firing, maybe you don't really want to be the one to shoot the bullet, right? To shoot the bullet that hits. I think it was this guy, if I'm remembering right. I think it was this guy who was the one whispering to Nichols in this scene. So this guy is the first mate's steward. Just going out on a limb here, could this be the second mate's steward? Is there such a thing? Is there such a thing? Where are stewards? Second mate's steward. Could it be that guy there is Samuel Galligan doing little whispers? Doing little whispers to our guy. Now, if it is Samuel Galligan, I think he's been in another memory. Oh, no, maybe not. What I was just thinking is I feel like I've heard an Irish accent in one of the memories, but actually he's not the only Irish person. He is one of... Nope, he's one of... The butcher is also Irish. So he's one of 3 Irish people. Okay, so even if that's true, that doesn't tell me necessarily that that's who it is. But if I could remember what the... If I could remember what the memory was. So the other one is a seaman. The other one is the butcher. Was it the butcher? Emil O'Farrell. But I think there's a very compelling argument that this guy is Samuel Galligan. Now, if I were to say... Oh, I was just going to try... Hello? The game is telling me don't do it. A higher rating means that it will be more difficult to deduce this person's identity. Focus on the easily deduced identities first and leave the more difficult ones for later. I wasn't really going to put it in. I feel like the game's kind of caught me out. Like, I feel guilty. No. I wasn't going to put it in as like a definite thing. But then again, can I change it if I've put it in? Suppose this is something I don't know. Or have I learned it and I've just forgotten? Ugh. The problem is that this is very hard to experiment with. I mean, I think I have a good guess at who this guy is, but I would be the first to say, I don't know. I don't know enough to say, to make a call. What I was going to try... Does this guy have one arm? I have only just... Because I didn't notice that in the big picture. Maybe there's just... Hang on, I have to take a look at the visual style here. Yeah, of course, no. The visual style is they have a white kind of space. They have white borders around... Because otherwise this would be a mess. If you didn't have white borders around each person here, like, it would be far too hard to discern all of the individual people in this style. So no, I was like, does this guy have one arm? What a reveal! He'll be really easy to identify, which in itself doesn't make sense because anytime you see a person, you can just zoom in on them and it shows you who they are anyway. Oh, on the map, that is. On the sketch, that is. Right, no, he probably has two arms then, yeah. In fact, he was probably holding that arm up in his whispering gesture to, to Nichols. Okay. But what I wanted to try, and I wasn't going to put it in as a definite, what I wanted to try is if I put the name in of the second mate, would it then show me what other memories the second mate has been in? That's what I was hoping to do. I guess it shows me the other memories that this guy has been in. I mean, of course, yeah. I'm now realizing how silly that thought was anyway. Of course, it's not going to show me the memories that the second mate has been in because that would be revealing, before you guessed who the second mate is. It's going to show me who this face, this face, what memories this face has been in. So, show memories. Yeah, but also, yeah, I mean, of course, it's those two. Yeah, it is those two. All right. But that means that person is here somewhere. So hang on. Let me just get in my head. Who are you? Oh, that's right. You're the gunner at the furthest from the artist. Now I've got more context. I think I can understand a little. Is this the guy? Is it you? No, you're kind of the crossed arm cravat guy. And you... Yeah, exploded guy, that's right. I keep forgetting you're exploded guy. Yeah, this is probably the first... is it the first memory that you're in? You might be in the one before this as well, because that's got so many people in it. So it could be, yeah, those three. All right, anyway, that's cool. You're exploded guy. I can almost remember. Yeah, Lars, that's right. I was like, we know who this guy is. Lars, who is standing near Alfred. Yep, got that one. What's the name again? Hokseng Lao. Hokseng. Okay. We know quite a bit about you now. Is it like what? Monkey? No, pigs. 2 pigs. Am I missing anyone around here? Oh, that's right. Black mustache guy. Maybe we can call him Mario. Mario. For the time being, you're going to be Mario. Sorry. Big moustache. Yep. Lucky for you, you're not perishing here. This is just an injury. I'm sure that's cold comfort. And it's helpful for me to start, the more that I look at people, to kind of... to go like, how many memories have they been in? 2. So it could be this one and the preceding one. That would make sense. I could check, I know, but it's not my huge priority right now. All right, so I think our guy is up here then. Is it you? Kind of, that looks like your face, right? No, but I have something else to tell you about this guy right here, I think. Oh, it is you. Ah. In that case, I thought I was going to be telling you all something. I will, but now I actually have an extra question with what I was going to say. Because it's about this guy's dress. And I was looking back at the episode where I was looking inside one of the officers' cabins, or whether it's an officer or someone else, whatever. I think they're all kind of considered officers, right? Not necessarily like a high-ranking officer, but I think they're considered officers. Officers for officers. I was looking at that clothing and I was looking at the sketch and sort of thought, oh, I had actually highlighted that I thought this could be the shirt that we saw. But then I thought, well, you know, could the other item of clothing that was a bit of a mystery to me, could it be this? Because this guy is wearing, and I'm going to say, is it a kilt? Because it sort of looks in the style of a kilt, right? I don't know, but it kind of looks kilty. But now, because I knew we had seen someone in this clothing, now I see, because it's hard to see the guy's bottom half here. It's hard to see a lot of people's bottom halves here. So I don't know how many people have something else similar. But I have to say that kind of looks like the clothing that we saw in whatever that office was. That looks pretty. I would say that looks like a match to me, but I've got to go back and look and does that mean if I go back and find which office that was in, because I can't recall right now, I would have to go and look which one has the clothing in it. Like I would, in my head, I was kind of guessing it's like here, but it might not be. If it turns out it's the second mate, but I don't think it is actually. I don't think it was on an end. That's why I think it was this one. I think it was like there was a room here and then the one next to it, kind of more to, you know, more inward, had the clothing in it. I could be wrong, but what I was thinking is if it turned out that that was the second mate's room, would that be further, further confirmation that this guy is the second mate steward? Because do the stewards to each of the mates sleep in the same rooms as the mates? Is that how this works? I don't know. These are things I don't understand, and please don't confirm it for me one way or the other. But this is what I'm wondering. I don't know this, and I'm wondering it. But I actually kind of think it might be here. There's no real reason that it's sort of neat, but someone who's conspiring with the second mate doesn't need to be the second mate's steward. It could be the third mate's steward and the second mate. Like, they're on a ship together and they potentially have long lives of working together outside of this particular voyage. So there's plenty of ways in which they can, have conversations together and decide, become friends or become allies, all of the possibilities. Now, this will be the other royal, yeah, though I can't identify, because there's two potential names and I don't think I know which is which yet. It's him or the other dark-haired guard that's next to him. The two names I don't know. This one was, guy on the stairs, who in actual reality in the scene is sitting on something, but it's not the stairs, I think. Okay. They truly are like loading up. I think my assessment is they're loading up the royals and this guy. So they all seem to be from quite different, stations on the ship, like very different positions. And obviously I don't know who to connect to what dialogue line, with. Chicken. What is this? Oh, I thought it was like an implement that was like leaning. No. It's a hook that has like a mooring sort of rope, attached to it. Right. Okay. I was like, this is like a little. I don't know. Look, it actually looked like one of those sticks that has like a grabby hand at the end of it that you use for reaching things that are far away. And I was like, they shouldn't have anything like this in this time period. I don't think people had invented grabby hand sticks by this stage. Okay. All right, so I've got a little bit more of a grip on... It's been good to revise this. It's been good to revise this. It's been good to revise this. Yeah, this is cool because I think... Yeah, I think that there is, in amongst the data that I have amassed so far, I think there probably are a couple of confirmations that I can make as I sift through it again. Okay, just had to check the time. Let's take a look down here. It's time. It's time. Well, freaking well. Oh, it's more of those giant comfy slippers. I think they're bottles. And all of these punching bags, all of the punching bags lined up, because everyone on the ship is really big on boxing. Really big on boxing. Just seeing if there's anything sort of interesting to spy from different angles. They kind of look like missiles. Oh, hello. Ooh. This is so exciting. Going along the secret outside corridor. I mean, it's not secret to anyone on the ship, but it's cool for me. Hello. What are you? Are you like a very neat little blood spatter? Yep. Oh my god. Right. I didn't know what... I'm kind of like... I haven't even like walked very far on this level yet. And so I'm sort of like, ooh, I don't want to like look at... I want to like look around a little bit more before I actually go and see a particular thing. I just want to say one more thing to you back here. Because I was going to say that thing on the wall there absolutely looks like a sort of like an intercom. This looks like an intercom. Ah, it's a window. Ah, it's a little window. It's a little window. It's so weird because it doesn't have... We can spy inside of the cabins? Now I'm so distracted, but like distracted in the best way. There's so much to look at. Like, there's not really distraction, right? In a sense, it's just there is so much to look at, and and I keep being interested by different things. Oh, hello. I'm so intrigued. We're looking inside the surgery. 'Cause what the hell is your deal, Henry Evans? What is your deal? What is your deal? Well, you like books. That's no surprise. You look like you have some maps at the top there, maybe. Some paper scrolls. I have no jump button, so I can't look anywhere else. And you have some hooks for clothing. Well, I suppose that's all very reasonable. I suppose it's all very reasonable of you. But you are, I don't know, can we say that you're a very intelligent person, most likely? Okay. Oh, I want to go everywhere. I want to look in all of the windows, but let's follow this. I'm not even looking in these windows. I know I could, but like what I want to do is because I know I have to close out the episode. I want to close out the episode seeing another one of these. They make for the lazarette. The lazarette's down the bottom.
Someone shoot the damn thing!
Someone shoot the damned thing. Thing? Wow. So who is this? Oh. interesting. Kind of guy standing at the back there. Look like you have a little moustache. What is this? Light shining through the window. Oh my god, this is amazing that we can see. We get insight into, well, to be honest, it looks like the door's open there anyway, but in this scene we get to look through the windows, potentially at doors that we can't otherwise, at rooms we can't otherwise see into. That's so exciting. Here it comes. Ah! Oh my god. Where are we now? Where are we now? Soldiers of the Sea. I'm so curious about everything, so it's silly to say. But like, I have really been wondering what the phrase Soldiers of the Sea will refer to. Soldiers of the Sea. What I'm thinking now that I've had all of these theories about the shells is like, this is the ocean coming to take back the shell. Could it be the wretched fish that have been mentioned? Wretched fish, are they the soldiers of the sea? But then in this, they say, shoot it. Shoot the damned thing. But then a person is shot. I don't know if that's an accident or the damned thing is this person. Are they like kind of cursed or something? All right. There's a lot to explore here. So what I'm going to do is just... Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, all right. We'll look at this one. We'll look at this one as well. We'll at least let this light... we'll let this light do its thing. Let's run. Let's go for it. Oh, yay. Are you going to turn around? Ah. You are on a merry... Are you going through the front? You're going through the door. Ah. Oh, it's not through the... It's not even in a room. It's in the main part. It's in the main internal section here. I see. Okay. All right. So this guy is here. All right. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. There. Oh my god. Oh, there's so much to see. There's so many things to look at. Oh god. Oh, there's blood there. Oh, there's treasure. It's all everywhere. It's all happening. Oh, I can't take it all in. I can't take it all in. Okay, we're going to investigate all of this much more carefully in the next episode. Wow. But like, it's such an interesting position to be in because I'm super keen to also go back and start sifting through some of the data that I already have. And, with new data, going back with this, this freshness of mind and this new knowledge to see how that changes how I notice different things in what I've already seen. But I'm also really keen to check out all of this new stuff in front of us. So somehow I'm going to do a bit of both, I think, in the next episode. But we'll see. I don't really know. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. It's been absolutely wonderful to see how excited people are about this game because I'm so excited about it. I'm having such an amazing time with it, and I'm glad that you are too. I'm glad to see that there's just so much love for this game because that's what I'm experiencing. And again, I feel, how can I say, I feel like I'm being like welcomed into the Obra Dinn community. You know what I mean? It's really nice. It's really nice. Anyway, do something very nice for yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, this is Rebecca again. I'm just popping back into the end of this episode to let you know, if you haven't seen it from the recent channel announcement video I did, that we now, Rebecca's Pixel Quest, now has a patron. The link is in the description if you're interested, and this is just for anyone who has the means and has the interest, would like to maybe, throw a few gold coins at us for support. I would really appreciate it. Please check it out because it's a place where I'm going to be throwing all kinds of bonuses, secrets, flavor text, all kinds of extra stuff, all kinds of fun stuff. You can check out more information on the recent channel announcement video if you'd like to. But other than that, thank you so much, and I'll see you next episode.